take questions today. If anybody has any questions.
Do you think, George Zimmerman, there's a chance of getting a jury that's going to give him a fair hearing, given the exposure that the case has gotten?
As a family member, our family, we're obviously concerned about that. We've been living under tremendous scrutiny, and we've been, by association to George, in danger for a long time. I think that the order as it stands now is not obviously sequestering the veneer or the pool, and I wonder how that will play into eventually having any meaningful anonymity if the judge or the court decides later that the jury should or should not be sequestered.
What kind of danger have you been living under?
We are threatened publicly by various formats, phone, Twitter. We live at a secluded place that nobody knows where we live. We have death threats directed at us for being George's family. We do not engage people very much, and certainly not in any meaningful sense in public, because we have to keep a very low profile publicly. I'm happy to engage the press here because I'm safe here.
¿Piensan ustedes que van a tener un juicio justo? ¿Y cómo ha sido este último año para ustedes? Una combinación de las dos preguntas. Primeramente, ¿ustedes piensan que van a tener un juicio justo aquí?
Primeramente, creo que en el sistema judicial que tenemos en este país es el mejor sistema que existe en el mundo. Ahora, obviamente hay problemas con este sistema, y una de las cosas que me preocupa bastante es que el jurado, si no es secuestrado, no va a ser anónimo. Y yo creo que se van a encontrar con tremenda presión el jurado de lo que sienten a veces las personas que tienen que hacer algo. Y en Florida la ley ordena que si no puedes encontrar a alguien culpable de asesinato, puedes incluir otras ofensas menores. Entonces eso me preocupa bastante.
¿Cómo está tu hermano? ¿Cómo está tu hermano anímicamente? ¿Cómo está la familia?
¿Puedo hablar de mi familia? Okay, sure. Puedo hablar de mi familia y cómo nosotros nos sentimos de George, pero el único que debe de hablar por George ahorita es su abogado Mark O'Mara. Nuestra familia está bajo bastante estrés, pero estamos contentos con la representación que tiene George. Tenemos confianza que el Estado no va a poder comprobar lo que alega y que George va a salir exonerado. Y después la segunda parte es cómo ha sido el último año.
Sí.
El último año ha sido un año extraordinariamente profundo para nosotros como familia viviendo juntos. Las familias se unen normalmente en fiestas, en celebraciones, pero nosotros estamos juntos todos los días, entonces, y solo juntos con nosotros todos los días. No salimos mucho en público y no nos encontramos en situaciones de poder conocer a nadie. Entonces, ha sido un año difícil, pero nos hemos reforzado el uno al otro.
Estás diciendo que estás siendo víctima tú como hermano de George Zimmerman. You answered this question earlier in English, and I'd like to get an answer from you in Spanish as well. So, prácticamente, si me puedes decir, ¿hasta qué nivel, hasta qué punto han sido estas amenazas tú como hermano?
Víctima no me gusta mucho esa palabra, pero soy familiar de alguien que desafortunadamente cuando se inyectó raza, en este caso, nos puso en una situación bien peligrosa. La policía me llamó, me dijo que mi casa no era un sitio seguro para estar. Eso fue hace un año, más de un año, en mi cumpleaños. Y desde ese entonces me preocupa no solo para mí, porque acá estamos, hemos sobrevivido, pero me preocupa para el futuro George Zimmerman o el futuro Trayvon Martin. Cualquiera de esas es una situación que exista así en el futuro. No se debe de amenazar a una familia entera simplemente porque alguien está enfrentado con cargos, cualquier cargo, no debe de ser amenazada constantemente y vivir así en las tinieblas.
Robert, how confident is George in the outcome of this case, and do you think your brother should take the stand?
Very good questions. I don't speak for George or his confidence. I can tell you as a family, we're very confident in the outcome of the case, and we're very confident that the state will not be able to meet its burden. And it's a twofold burden here in Florida. Not only do they have to prove that this was a murder as they allege, they also have to prove simultaneously that it could not have been self-defense. So we're confident the state won't meet its burden, and that kind of backs into our confidence in the legal team. As you can see from the past few days, Don West has been extraordinary. He's Marco Mera's secret weapon, in my opinion. And going forward, depending on how the state brings its case, they will show even more of their eloquence in presenting.
How can you look about the jury meeting your brother today? And I should say potential jury meeting.
Can I address the stand real quick? I'm sorry, Amish, just 1 second. About the stand, obviously it would be inappropriate for me to comment about that, but I will say George has made several statements. Some of those statements he made while his voice was being analyzed to detect deception. He's made statements in his own voice. He's made statements while they're videotaped. He's made statements by his own hand, writing to police. He made statements to Sean Hannity. And I think that in a sense, in terms of what's available in discovery, he has taken the stand. He's been very consistent. He has always told the truth from the beginning. He was attacked, his nose was broken, and the attack continued, and he defended himself. So as for taking the stand in any case in this country, the burden is on the state. So before we get to taking the stand, we have to really think about what an appropriate defense would be and juxtapose that to how the state presents its case. It's my suggestion that the state doesn't have a case. Mr. O'Mara's gone on the record saying the state knows that they have a very weak case. I believe it's an improper charge altogether. I wish they would just withdraw it. Seeing as how that's not likely to happen now, I'm confident they're not going to meet their burden.
Should he have been charged with anything?
No, you don't charge in this country simply to assuage the concerns of masses. You charge when there's probable cause. And I have no doubt that Mr. Lee, the former chief of Sanford, Florida, chief of police, and the district attorney's office, or state attorney's office as it is here, would have liked nothing more than to find any shred or ounce of probable cause that they could have used to charge George with any crime. They in fact found none, and then it became politicized. And unfortunately, a political calculation was made, centered around the politics of race, and the law was defiled.
I asked you yesterday, and I'm asking again, do you find that during the trial, when you let out your own Twitters that are, as we discussed and agreed, racist in nature, aren't you fueling the fire?
Well, I did not discuss nor agree to that. I think that it's important to a lot of people who support the family that they have a front row seat. They don't trust the media, and I think rightfully so. They think that they've learned that the media is very good at putting their own spin on what they want the narrative to be. They say it makes it less confusing for the public, but I don't have an employer. I'm not employed by NBC, CBS, CNN, or anybody else, so I don't have editors or I don't have bosses, and I just try to be as honest as I can. Having said that, when the jury is actually selected, after there's a jury selected, I will not be tweeting anymore.
¿Cuál es tu sentir como su hermano? O sea, estás tú, ponte tú en el lugar de, tú cómo te sientes.
Yo me siento, bueno, como hermano mayor siempre te enseñan, lo que sufre el menor lo debes de sufrir tú o debería de ser tú eres el ejemplo, tú eres el que tiene que ayudar a tu hermano. George me inspira a mí. George ha tenido una vida horrible desde que esto empezó. No se mereció lo que pasó. Lo que pasó fue que la ley que lo protegía, la ley de defensa propia, fue violada, y fue violada por raza, por motivos racistas, por personas que metieron esos motivos racistas en una historia donde no pertenecían.
¿Hablaste con él hoy? ¿Hablaste con él hoy? ¿Hablaste con tu hermano hoy? ¿Qué es lo que te dijo?
Ni yo no hablo de las conversaciones que tengo yo, ni nadie de mi familia de las conversaciones que tienen con George. George debe tener su privacidad y eso respetamos.
¿Cómo te sientes del equipo en que lo está defendiendo?
Excelente, es el mejor equipo en el estado de Florida. Our parents we're working on security. They're not here today, obviously. They understand it's important to support George during jury selection and especially during the trial. But we're working on security, and hopefully, maybe we can make something happen sometime this week.
Have you all been living together in the same house? Or what's...
We don't really talk about that, but we have a lot of family time. That's how I'll leave that. We don't talk about, same house, different house, or who's where, because it sends the wrong signal sometimes in terms of how to reach us. So we've had a lot of family time.
Robert, who's sitting with
Shelley in the courtroom? I know there's security guards. But
Yes.
there's some other people. Are they family members, or who's sitting?
That bench is for family, and the only other people, I guess the rules were relaxed today, and the only other people who have sat there are Mr. West's family members or kind of overflow from the defense team, but it has been just family up until today.
How is Shelley taking it?
Shelley's facing perjury charges, so I can't comment on anything about Shelley right now, unfortunately.
Can you talk about the jury, potential jury meeting your brother today, and whether or not you think that will have any impact?
I think it's, if it would not have had impact and Mr. Romero would not have asked for it, I think that one of the problems in this situation was that there was a big vacuum surrounding who George Zimmerman was. And so this mythological monster evolved that people had nothing to contrast with. I think it's important that jurors get to know that George is a real person. He's not just whatever images people flash across the screen or whatever narrative people write about. He's a sensitive person, he's generous, he's very likable if you actually get to meet him, and I think it's the right thing to do.
¿Piensa que tu hermano ha sido,
¿Podrías repetir eso en español, por favor?
tu hermano ha sido prejuzgado injustamente, dirías tú? ¿Y cómo es tu hermano?
Okay. La pregunta fue si es que es buena idea que él conozca el jurado. Yo creo que sí es buena idea porque George es una persona real. George no es una imagen en la televisión o algo que se lee en el periódico. Es una persona con sentimientos, es una persona sensitiva, generosa y honesta. Yo creo que es importante que el jurado lo pueda ver a él como un ser humano y no simplemente una historia.
Robert, as intelligent as you are and eloquent and as well educated as your family is, your father being a magistrate judge, what possessed Shelley and your brother to go ahead and tell a judge, we have no money, we have nothing? What possessed you when you knew you had funds?
First of all, I disagree with that they somehow collaboratively told that to the judge. Second of all, because Shelley's facing charges, I don't comment on that right now.
¿Cuál es tu mensaje a la comunidad hispana que los está siguiendo el caso de cerca?
Yo creo que es importante entender que cuando me acerqué a la prensa, lo hice en algo que se llama café con leche. Quise acercarme a la prensa latina, hispana, latinoamericana, pero no quise hacerlo de un modo que iba a inyectar más raza en el diálogo. Por ejemplo, decir, no somos blancos, somos latinos. Eso es un argumento nulo, porque es como decir, un latino no puede ser racista, una persona negra, una persona blanca, sí. Nuestra madre trabajó bastante para integrar a la comunidad latina toda su vida. Y parte de integración es respetar el concepto que todos somos americanos y respetar nuestra cultura y nuestros orígenes, pero no insistir que raza sea un punto de división. Two more.
Are you surprised by what seems to be a relatively small number of protesters out there? Did you expect more?
Good question. I will expect more going on. I'm a little surprised that they're not more vocal. You know, sometimes a small group of people can make a lot of noise, but I think it's what I'm really happy about is that the public seating has been managed so well, because I think that the public has to respect the verdict, and in order for that to happen, they have to actually participate in the process. Last one. We're good? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.